Hello everyone, it's Mia from Mia Bell Natural Beauty Brokers. Welcome to another Small Business Masterclass where every month industry experts and champion brands share their top tips to create success for yourself and your business. Now, sales copy and brand copy is definitely a very difficult topic for a lot of us, specifically because most of us are makers, are entrepreneurs, have skill sets everywhere else, but when it comes to writing about our products, writing about our own brand, it can get very difficult to get that messaging across. And sometimes it almost paralyzes us because we're not too sure what to do. I actually have someone that is a big expert on this, and I'd love to introduce you to her. With over 10 years of experience writing for fashion, beauty, and wellness brands ranging from startups to $60 million enterprises, Amy Flyntz, founder of Amy Flyntz Copywriting LLC, specializes in brand identity and strategic messaging. From direct response and inbound marketing campaigns to retail collateral and website copy, Amy delivers words that woo the masses and also increases brand exposure. You guys, take a pen and paper. She has some gold to share with us this month. Amy, I'd love to welcome you on to this interview.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Mia.
We're so happy to have you. I am actually just looking at your tips, and I cannot wait to dive in. So let's start with tip number one.
Okay, so tip number one is to make sure that all of your copy is as cohesive as possible. What I see often with brands in every stage of their development is that a lot of times you start out with one message and then you kind of get away from it every time you hit your social media platform. What starts out as packaging copy lands on your website, which is fantastic. That's how it should be. But then you start to kind of play around with your email campaigns. You switch up your wording. Maybe your messaging isn't as clear as possible. So what I tell clients to do is, first of all, figure out who your audience is. And you'd be surprised at how many brands actually are in existence and have achieved success, but they have no idea who they're marketing to. So I think that's a really important part of the process, is to figure out who is buying your product, who do you want to target. And in doing so, make a list of words that best reflect your brand. So I've had some brands say to me, do not under any circumstances use the word glamorous in anything that you write. I hate that word. We're not going to use it. So make a list of words that really you connect with, that you feel best reflect your brand. And then also brand words that you absolutely cannot stand to see and you would never, ever in a million years use to market your brand. So it's a very delicate balance between retaining your current clients, if you are an existing brand, and obtaining new ones. But I think if you really comfortable in the language that you're using and make sure to kind of use it in every step of the way, you may get tired of that language, but the customers are not going to get tired of it because they're not so immersed in your brand as you are. So that's tip number one.
Amy, that is fantastic. So I think this segues into your second tip, which is consistency is key. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
I see this with a lot of startups where they will come to me and say, this is who we are, this is what we're thinking, and these are the products we're going to launch with, and can you help us create a brand voice? And so what I do is I sit with them and we go through a bunch of questions to kind of really flesh out what the brand voice is going to be. And then through a very collaborative process, I help them create that brand voice. Oftentimes what I'm seeing is you launch with a certain set of products. And for instance, you may want your brand voice to be super accessible and witty and really fun and kind of youthful. And then you introduce new products into your line. And all of a sudden you're saying, we kind of want to get away from that. What we want to do is really sound as luxurious and high-end as possible. And so that becomes a very expensive proposition because you are talking about completely rebranding at a very early stage. And you really want to stay away from that. You want to be as consistent as possible across the board. So take the time in the beginning to really sit down with a professional copywriter, help them decide what it is you're trying to say. They can craft that for you. And then as you kind of map out your strategy for the business, or you want to introduce new products, there is a way to do that, certainly, but not without abandoning your initial voice.
And genuine voice actually probably has more to do with it really than anything else, because I have even seen those instances where brands come out with a certain voice, and then maybe a few months down the line, they are a completely different person. Literally, the brand is a completely different person. And
yes,
you get this sense of brand whiplash, like now we're here, now we're there, now we're doing this, now we're that. And if you can't quite identify and be solid in who you are as a brand and be able to communicate that, then other brands will outshine you very easily.
yes.
And you'll easily be forgotten. And I do say this to a lot of the brands that I consult with is, if we're putting this messaging out there, my goodness, keep it consistent because we can't be switching things up. So Amy, let's move into tip number 3. Keep it short and sweet. A brand identity professional knows to keep copy concise while still packing a powerful punch.
Yes. So this is huge. I see this all the time. Every brand is excited to get their message out there, and they want to bombard their potential customers with as much information as possible, so customers then convert it into a sale, which I completely understand. But here's the thing. We live in a very fast-paced society. People do not want to take time reading paragraphs and paragraphs in your email campaign. They're not going to open it if it doesn't have a catchy headline and a subject line. And a professional is going to take the time to get your message across, but really pare it down to the heart of the message. And it's going to be punchy, and you're still going to come across as who you are as a brand, but in as little words as possible, if that makes sense.
Is there an example that you can craft for us on the spot?
Sure. Let's see. Something along the lines of, you're sending out an email campaign, you want to make an announcement about your product just winning an award. So instead of saying, we have recently just won a Best of Beauty award from the #1 beauty blog, you can do something as short as named Best of Beauty from #1 beauty blog. Just taking out those extra words helps create, first of all, it packs a punch, and it also creates a sense of urgency. So all of a sudden, someone clicks that email and they say, oh, wow, they were just named Best of Beauty. Great. It's the same message, much fewer words, and also creates an excitement and a sense of urgency.
It really does. Actually, when you said that next, more edited down version, I was like, where's that email? Let me click on that. No, it really does create a sense of urgency, and just less is more, really, when it comes to copy sometimes. So let's move into tip number 4 for you. Change is the enemy.
So I see this often with existing companies who have been established for a while, and their messaging has been, hopefully they've taken one of my tips and their messaging has been cohesive throughout, and they are kind of getting bored of their own message. And while I understand that brands need to hit refresh from time to time, I think what happens often when we own a brand, we are living and breathing that brand from morning till night. And we are so immersed in our own language and our own messaging. And all of a sudden you get the urge to kind of shake things up and you want to tweak it. And so often what happens is, because we are so used to hearing our own thoughts and our own messaging and our own words, we want to shake things up by saying, let's start messing with the copy. Let's start messing with the messaging. But what we don't understand, or what we might forget, is that our customers are not living and breathing our message. It would be great if they were, but they are getting bombarded every day by hundreds of email campaigns, by all kinds of different offers, by retail signage, by products when they go into the store. And so change here actually is the enemy. You want to keep your brand message across the board. Don't on the fly all of a sudden say, I just want to shake things up because I'm tired of hearing it. Because the truth is, your customer is not tired of hearing it. And just as you're starting to get the itch to mess things up and to change things around, is the exact time when your customer is actually starting to identify those words with your brand. That's the sweet spot. So that's what you want to play up to.
Like you said, there's so much noise out there that we think that everybody's
Yes.
hearing us. We think that people are paying attention to us, but in reality, they really aren't. Actually, brands that you see thriving out there, that you see people really understand what they're about, it's because they've seen that messaging over and over and over and over the years.
Right. I mean, think of something like Nike. Just do it. I'm sure the employees at Nike just want to retire that slogan because they're just sick of it, but it's iconic. And so, something that you might be tired of, your customer is not going to be. Think of your own email box. How many different emails do you get every single day? And it takes years of seeing that over and over to really establish yourself as the expert in your field and also to differentiate you from all the other brands out there.
Amy, these are all amazing tips. Do you have any parting words of advice, any little nugget of gold that you can share with us in regards to ensuring that our brand identity and strategic messaging is really hitting it home?
I have to say that as someone who works with words for a living, proper grammar is highly underrated. I can't tell you how many beautifully laid out email campaigns I have seen. The graphics are absolutely stunning. The product may be the product that's going to change your life, change your skin, change your everything. But if it is grammatically incorrect, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. Take the time, send it out to your graphic designer, get it back, send it back to your copywriter so that they can proof and ensure that everything you put out is absolutely perfect and on brand.
Amy, thank you so much for all of this knowledge and information. How can people connect with you outside of this interview? Where can people find you?
So, Leah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I really, really appreciate it. And people can find me at www.amyflyntz.com. That's AMYFLYNTZ.com. You can follow me on Twitter at FlyntzyGirl, FLYNTZIE girl, or on Instagram at Flyntzy. Thank you so much.
And fellow viewers, do not despair. I will make sure that we have links to all of Amy's pages and social media handles right below this video. If you found this video super informative and helpful, please ensure that you're subscribed to our newsletter so that you don't miss next month's expert interview. And make sure that you're also getting some top smart retail tips in your inbox from Mia Bell as well. We'll see you guys soon. Catch you next month. Bye.